So let's call the Commissioner meeting to order at 10:01. All those who are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, seeing no public for comment, we'll move on. Any additions to the agenda from the commissioners?
None I'm aware of.
Okay. If the meeting minutes are good, we'll take a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the meeting held February 3rd.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the meeting held on February 3rd. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And now we have Mark Kellerman from our assessments department, who is one of the best in the county, maybe even the country. So good to see you here again.
Not sure about that. Before you today is Resolution 2 of 2026. The main thing that this resolution does is changes the date of annual appeals from September 1st to August 1st. And there's a number of reasons why we wanted to make that change. I've been wanting to do it for a couple of years. But, you know, the Board of Assessment Appeals is a voluntary board in Center County. And when the deadline is September 1st, those appeals have to be heard and decided on by October 31st. So that deadline to get the board to meet is very short. We're required by law to give 20 days notice to the appellants of the hearing date. So our time frame in there is very short to get the board lined up. And that board may have to meet 3 to 4 times in that time frame. So that was the main reason why we wanted to move it to August 1st. And the other reason is just staff time. We're very busy that time of year. We're working on new construction after that, busy summer construction season. So it's always a real push at that time of year to get all the work done. So if I may, I'll just read the section of the resolution that pertains to that. The filing date for annual assessment appeals will be moved from September 1st to August 1st. The August 1st deadline shall begin on August 1st, 2026, and continually annually thereafter. To assist with the public's transition to the August 1st deadline, the board shall not penalize any annual assessment appeals that are submitted after August 1st, but on or before September 1st. So basically, that first year, we're giving a grace period because we're known as being a September 1 appeal county. Commencing in calendar year 2027, the Board of Assessment Appeals may apply any lawful penalties for applications submitted after August 1st. And those lawful penalties are simply, we hold that appeal until the next year. If somebody appeals a couple days late, we notify them that it was late. We'll hold it for the following year, and then the board will hear it that year if the appellant still wants to do it. Another important point to this is these appeals have to be in office on those dates, not postmarked. By law, we don't accept postmarks. It has to be in the assessor's office on, in this case, August 1st. The other thing that it does is it changes the filing fee for residential appeals from $25 to $35. We took a look at the cost of filing those appeals, the cost of postage. We mail both first class and certified to everyone. And if they have an attorney, then we're sending out multiple mailings, and also the staff time for those. The board hears very few residential appeals, but those that do will be $35 if you agree to this resolution.
Great. Well, thanks for explaining that in so much detail, Mark.
Sure.
But for the folks at home, the Board of Assessment Appeals is a voluntary board, which we greatly appreciate.
Absolutely.
And as you mentioned, as a volunteer board in a county of our size, the September 1st deadline is now causing issues because you say they have to have everything done by, I think it was the end of October.
October 31st has to be decided upon, yes.
So we'll move our application deadline back to August 1st, but for 2026, we'll give people a grace period this year.
Yeah.
If they are going into August, it's okay this year.
Yes.
But in 2027, everybody's been notified. They'll need to have it in by August 1st of 2027.
Yeah, and speaking of the notification, we're going to have a notice on the tax bills, the county municipal bills that are going to be coming out March 1st, stating this change. And then we'll also announce it at the time, in June, whenever we do the roll approval and things like that, and advertise the tax rolls.
All right. Well, great. Appreciate Jen and her department working with you so that every taxpayer in the county is actually getting written notice of this. Great. Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense, and having the buffer for this year is reasonable, I think.
Yeah,
So-
it's appreciated by the board members.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
Well, I first wanted to state that the Board of Assessment Appeals, by statute, I believe, it is to be occupied by the Commissioner's office. Well, I think commissioners long before me recognized the fact that there needs to be a really specific set of skills and knowledge
Experts.
and expertise
Yeah.
to perform these functions. I mean, you're talking about folks that, it's not just residential, it could be commercial, it could be a very long string of properties that need addressed. And I want to say first, thank you to you and the Board of Assessment Appeals for taking that responsibility on, because it's a lot of work. It truly is. But it's important work because it's part of what makes the tax process fair.
Right.
Yes.
And we're always talking about tax fairness, and without a high-functioning Board of Appeals, we would really that would be impossible. So I say thank you to not only the board, but to your staff that oversees all that.
Appreciate
And
it.
I think this makes complete sense to give them that extra time to work through, because some of these issues of reassessment are incredibly complicated. And I think it also it's almost scary sometimes, the volume of appeals that you have. So we just say thank you, and I'm happy to support this, and
It's appreciated, Steve. Thanks.
appreciate your consideration.
Tim, any questions? No? All right. So unless there's anything else, we'll take a motion to adopt Resolution 2.
Okay, I will move that we adopt Resolution 2 of 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2 of 2026. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries, and then we'll need to change the guidelines and change the residential fee, as you mentioned.
Yes, part of this whole process is to modify the appeal procedures, rules, and regulations that the board has for the appellants in this case. In addition to the two things that I mentioned before, a very important part of this is adding a section, which is Section 7, Procedure for Granting Disabled Veteran Exemption Status. The board solicitor, David Gaines, has worked and done research into the processes needed for those exemptions for disabled veterans, and we felt it best to outline those processes so that, both the public and the board has guidelines to go by when those applications are made for exemption.
Great. Well, thanks for explaining that, Mark. And of course, the commissioners Commonwealth-wide do support our 100% disabled war veterans, and happy to more clearly define their role for the exemptions. Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, I think this is a good move. We talked when we had our Board of Assessment, our Board of Assessment meeting, that this is helpful to clarify, and everybody will be on the same page.
Great. Commissioner Dershowitz?
It's all good?
All
Okay.
right.
I'll move to approve amending the Center County Appeal Procedures, Rules, and Regulations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the amending of the Center County Appeals Procedures, Rules, and Regulations. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thank you.
All right,
Thank
thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, now moving on to 911 Emergency Communications. We've got Norm for a tower site.
Requesting approval of a contract addendum with American Tower for the Rock Run Tower site, including a new Exhibit A1 noting our new corrected antenna height. Our antenna was lowered recently due to an interference problem with a wireless provider who leased space on the tower before Center County. And we just moved it down a couple feet, and this is a new lease agreement reflecting the new heights.
Great. Thanks, Norman. We do appreciate American Tower for working with Center County 911 Emergency Communications for, as we talked about last week, that roughly $20 million just from the county perspective radio system that all of our emergency responders use, because you can't get cell service everywhere in the county, and most especially during significant weather events, the cell system has a tendency to at least partially fail. Commissioner Concepcion,
Yeah, this sounds good to me. Thanks for keeping on top of it.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
Just one question. When they're determining the heights for all this equipment to avoid interference, is that something that they can be, in other words, I guess the question is, can you be proactive? In other words, can you determine in advance where that is, or is it kind of trial by error?
The antenna height was just too high, and they just lowered it down. We reviewed it with our tower vendor, our radio consultant, and Motorola, and they agreed there'd be no impact
There
to,
wouldn't be any impact on our
on
ability,
our end.
but it does solve their problem with the
Solves the problem
interference.
because the antenna's stuck up in front of their
Oh, okay.
array.
Okay.
that
Actually
was-
physically right in front of it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You ready for a motion?
I'll move to add the contract addendum with American Tower Spectra site to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract addendum with American Tower Spectre site to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thanks, Norm.
Thank you.
And now John will cover a capital project item.
Morning, Commissioners. Before you for consideration is the approval of a design service proposal from MG Architects. This is the architect that we used for the CSB building. And this is relative to designing system requirements based on the International Building Code. Some comments that we received from the code office stating that if there were to be something that would happen with the battery system, the BESS system, that there would have to be a certain amount of air that would have to be forcing out of that room to expel whatever was, happening in that room. So it's basically an air
Almost like ventilation.
ventilation system that
okay.
needs to be designed. So before you for consideration is a design service proposal with MG Architects.
All right. Well, thanks for explaining that, John. Appreciate it. Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, so essentially, this is, the battery is the solar power comes into the battery, and then it's storing it, and that's part of kind of actually what's buffering the power supply in the building as well, in a sense, right? So that we don't, it's kind of also serving as a big surge protector.
Yes,
right?
and brownouts, if there's a brownout, that can also harm sensitive equipment, and this would supplement whatever was coming in. So it acts like that buffer, as well as being a battery backup if the power were to go completely down.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
the essence of this will be some sort of ventilation, air evacuation fan.
Yes.
So it doesn't have anything to do with refrigeration or heating. It's just pure air movement. Is that what we?
That's my understanding of the situation. It would only be used if there were to be some type of failure within the battery system.
Is the concern that it could overheat if there was is that what is trying to prevent overheating in that room, or?
Probably generates gas.
Right, if there were to be a fire or something like
Uh-huh.
that, it's going to expel,
Oxygen. So that-
right?
Yeah,
So
okay.
we need to get that ventilated out of the building.
Got it, okay.
All right. Unless there's any other questions, we'll take a motion.
I'll move to add the proposal with MG Architects to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to add the proposal with MG Architects to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now over to Chad with two different contract addendums.
Yes, good morning.
morning.
First item is seeking approval for a contract with Shredding Solutions to provide computer asset destruction for hard drives and other various types of media that have exceeded their retention guidelines. So this contract total is not to exceed $6,000.
And it's my understanding that that 6,000 is got a lot of buffer in it. Hopefully we can.
It does,
bring in
yes.
Quite a bit lower.
Yes, it's probably going to come in quite a bit lower,
Yeah.
but once they get the final counts and everything,
Right.
that's when we get the invoice, but
Right.
probably
You never
come in
know.
half of that or so.
Right, but you never know. It could end up, you could end up with more devices than you thought.
Yes.
In this case, you'd have to come back to us.
That's right.
All right. Commissioner Concepcion?
No, that sounds
Commissioner
reasonable.
Dershowitz? All right.
I'll move to approve the contract addendum with Shredding Solutions.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the contract addendum with Shredding Solutions. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries, and then you have a very small contract addendum.
Yes, this is an addendum with Unity Solutions, which is Windstream, essentially. They think they merged at some point in the past few months, to provide PSLE services to support addressing for E911. This is essentially $25 a month, so $300 for the year.
Great. I assume we would have any questions on the 300.
Okay. I'll move to add the contract addendum with Unity Solutions to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract addendum with Unity Solutions to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
And now Dave has some exciting things for us.
Yes, good morning. Thank you. I have a couple different items, starting with asking the board to consider the approval of our medical assistance transportation program final allocation for the fiscal year 2024-2025. The amount would be $1,058,506. We are due a payment of $75,167 that will be processed upon their receipt of this allocation approval to bring us back to whole for what we went over on the previous allocation for that fiscal year. It's always nice to have them owing us money.
Yeah.
Yes. The second item is the consideration of the approval of our medical assistance transportation program amended allocation for the fiscal year 2025-2026. The amount would be $1,335,236. That amount was amended due to them now paying for psychiatric rehabilitation services for the first time in almost 15 years. It was a long time that they did that, and they stopped for many years, so they had to be funded in other ways. But so it's not really adding a lot of extra trips, it's just shifting the burden of costs to the Department of Human, to MATP for that. Our original allocation was $1,177,378 that you had approved previously in the early fall, but since they started this in January, they gave us an increase for that. So,
Great.
and then the third item is exciting. It's the consideration of the approval of in-kind purchase of 13 vehicles from Penn State University using in-kind funds. The total to obtain all the vehicles would be $160,930, which does include the surcharge fee that we pay. All the vehicles are listed. We have departments for them once we get them to replace old and worn out, some that are already out of service, and take others out of service so we can liquidate them here in a couple months at the auction. So
Great.
I just asked to consider approving all three items.
All right, well, that's lots of wonderful news, Dave. We appreciate the funding for the state for the medical assistance transportation program for their last fiscal year, and we appreciate the noticeable bump for the current fiscal year to cover the trip costs for psychiatric rehabilitation services, which you said we had to find other funds to cover
Yes,
that for a number of
correct.
years.
Yes.
Because the state had covered it prior.
Yeah, they did. Back in 2010, 2011, they stopped, and then they brought it back for like a 6-month period, and they took it away until now. So, and it had to be funded privately through the agencies that do the services. So
Yeah.
they incorporated it, and we transported through them. But it's pretty amazing that back in those days, our MA was less than $500,000 total. So we've increased quite a bit over the years in the services, and they're very good about funding what we ask for.
Well, more population,
Yes,
more trips,
yes,
inflation. it adds up.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And thanks again for working with our partner Penn State on
Yes.
those 13 vehicles.
13.
That is fabulous.
Never bought that many at one shot.
I
Yeah.
think this
I
might
thought
be,
that might be
this might be a high.
Yeah.
That's a high for one-time purchase, yeah. I mean, we bought 13 in a year's time, but
Yeah, yeah.
not at one time. So we're excited. And the departments are all excited,
Yeah.
looking forward to upgrading and getting newer stuff,
Yeah,
yes.
from the county standpoint, 5- and 6-year-old vehicles are new.
Yes, oh, yes,
We appreciate
absolutely.
that, and everybody working with the used vehicles.
So will one of them be used to shuttle the media to and from the media lounge?
We can accommodate that. You know me, when you ask for transportation, we provide it. So you just give me the word and we'll take care of it.
You're in, Tim.
Well, these seem like some pretty good prices, especially for the 4x4s.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Commissioner Dershowitz. Anything else?
No,
Okay.
sounds
Any-
great.
Any questions about the sweet rides, Tim? No? All right, we'll take a motion.
I'll move to approve transportation items 1 through 3.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the 3 items for transportation. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thanks.
Thank you all very
Thanks,
much.
Dave.
Thank you.
All right, now, there's Julia with an item for adult services.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So before you, I have contract addendum number 1 with Habitat for Humanity to provide home repair services through the whole home repair program. So what's happening here is we are asking to move funds so that we can close out the program.
Well, it was a great program.
Absolutely.
We helped, what was it, like 63 families, give or take?
Right, that sounds
Somewhere
about
in the lower
right.
60s. And, we allowed veterans and senior citizens and just people on limited incomes to stay in their homes, get the homes fixed up affordably, improves their quality of life, and then it keeps those homes in the housing stock. So it is a way that the commissioners addressed affordable housing in Center County, because if you have a starter home collapse in on itself, furnaces break, pipes freeze, et cetera, if we can fix that, it keeps the house available for the next generation.
Yeah,
Pipe freeze.
Yeah, pipes freeze, yeah, that
Yeah.
-6 or -10 we were talking about earlier today.
Yeah, it was a really
Good to
nice
know.
opportunity because you don't often get an opportunity to repair existing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's usually the money is for first month's rent or
Yes.
something like that, and you don't often get this opportunity. And so I was glad we were able to take advantage of it.
And I think the commissioners in this county and a number of other counties would love to see a whole home program number 2.
Absolutely.
Would just love it.
Yeah.
Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, I'm really glad about the success of this program because, anytime you can keep someone in their home, then you're, preserving affordable housing is just as important to the overall effort. And really, big thanks to Habitat for Humanity and their work on this. Like, they really made this possible for us to carry out this program for Center
Yeah, it was
County.
a great partnership.
Yep, there were some busy bees.
Yep.
Yes, they were.
It's all good.
All right. So again, we would like to thank our partnership with Habitat for Humanity for this project. I believe the state actually was holding us up, as is not uncommon throughout Center County government, as one of the best examples of how to run a program of this type.
Yes.
So again, appreciation to Habitat and our Adult Services Department and the other stakeholders we worked with on that as well.
Yes.
I think we're ready for a motion.
I'll move then to approve, or to add the contract addendum with Habitat for Humanity to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract addendum with Habitat for Humanity to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Julia.
Thank you.
And now we have Kathy from the Super Department for a club that actually got mentioned at the drug court graduation today.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm here today to ask for approval of a contract renewal with the Rural 62 Club to provide services, specifically recovery support services in the community. This contract total is $35,000 and it is funded with opiate settlement dollars. And the contract will run from January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. This renewal is from their last contract was for 6 months. They were still finishing their construction and renovations of their place. We did not make any expenditures because they were still finishing the construction. So now that that is finished, we're renewing the contract so that we can actually assist them with the furnishings and the kitchen supplies and all the things that they need for the clubhouse. Rule 62 is an excellent example of a grassroots organization serving the community, organized and supported by their community. They are well-run and anxious and excited to be a support to their home community, and they are excited about this wonderful new space that they have. They have their website up and running. They share their history willingly, having started in a very, very small space donated by one of their original members, and having changed locations multiple times over the last 30, 40 years, being chased out or evicted, and now having gotten a grant through the Behavioral Health Alliance of Rural Pennsylvania, they own their current space. This is theirs, and we have an opportunity to help them establish a permanency that will last going forward. They have a beautiful space. They are now seeing as many as 200 people a week
Yeah.
come through their space. It's really impressive. They have opened their space to others. They are currently supporting Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, Narcotics Anonymous, Sex Addicts Anonymous, Marijuana Anonymous, Al-Anon meetings. They have expanded their mission to not just recovery support, but wellness. If there is space and time allowed, they are open to welcoming other recovery and wellness groups to utilize their space. And by donation, folks can use that space at very low cost and only take funds to support the mission and keep the space open. So it is a fabulous opportunity to support their community and encourage recovery and wellness to others. And so we are excited to support them in their mission and their desire to make space for recovery in Center County.
we did-
We're as excited as they are.
Right, we heard very positive testimony this morning about the Rule 62 Club, and they did mention they're currently hosting about 20 different meetings a week.
Yes.
But as you mentioned, if there are groups in the recovery and addiction or even wellness space, to go to the Rule 62 Club website, contact them, and maybe see if there's an open time that works for their group as well.
Exactly. They welcome that.
Yeah, thanks for this overview. I've been really impressed with everything I've heard about this Rule 62 Clubhouse over the last few years I've been a commissioner, and it's great to see this funding coming in, so, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we're-
it's the opioid settlement funds, but I
Yeah.
think it's,
Right.
you know, to have that available for us to support them, I think is really.
Right. And it's great to see that even just a small amount of money can make such a big difference for so many people.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
As Mark mentioned, Al Jones was very
Yeah.
complimentary of your office, you know, being in full support of their mission, and I think it's going to make a big difference to the folks in the community.
And they are eager to do fundraising and look at different projects to keep that momentum going. They are hardworking people.
Great. Good to hear.
Wonderful.
Happy to support them.
All right, then I will move to approve the contract with Rule 62 Club.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Rule 62 Club. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Great, thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Very tiny consent agenda today.
I'll move to approve this week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Moving on, I think we
We have a check run.
do have a
Yep.
check run. All right.
The check that I'd like to point out today on the check run is for the ARC of Center County. They provide services for individuals with intellectual disabilities in the Center County region, wide variety of services. They're a really great county partner. And with that, I would like to move that we approve the check run dated February 6th, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the check run dated February 6th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. John, probably not another administrator's report, right? You just did one a couple weeks
Right.
ago. But you do have an exciting letter of support for a local church that's very involved in the community.
Yes, so St. Andrew's Episcopal Church and State College is applying for a grant through the West Penn Energy Fund to build a 77.44 kilowatt solar array on their roof. And it's expected to produce over 80,000 kilowatt hours in the first year and is anticipated to offset 70% of the church facility's annual energy consumption. And they are seeking a letter of support from the commissioners.
Great. Well, obviously, electric rates are headed nowhere but up at this point. So anything they can do to fix their costs is great. And I do know, I think they host at least 3 polling places for us in an area where, due to the population, it's a pretty dense population in there and not a whole lot of public spaces. And I also think their pastor is known as the Spider-Man pastor because he dresses up in a Spider-Man costume on a regular basis.
I've heard that as well, yes.
Yes. Yeah, and he does have the build for it. He kind of looks like Spider-Man. And whereas
Does he
I'm
scale
not-
buildings and such?
I think he might have done a couple of fundraisers that
There you
way,
go.
Steve. That's maybe where it came from.
All right.
Whereas if I wear a Spider-Man costume, I'm not fooling anybody. Commissioner Concepcion.
Yeah, this is great. I think, it'll help them with their energy costs, and, they do so much in the community, including their weekly community dinners that are open to anybody. So, happy to support this effort.
Happy to support them.
Yep.
Great. Well,
I'll
looks like
move.
we're all enthusiastic on this
Yeah,
one.
then I'll move to approve the letter of support for St. Andrew's Episcopal Church for their solar array.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the letter of support for St. Andrew's Episcopal Church. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Looks like do we have a voter's registration?
I do,
report this
yep.
morning?
So today on our report, we have 102,067 registered voters in Center County. Of those, Democratic voters comprise 41,400. Green Party voters, 160. Libertarian voters, 563. Those with no affiliation, 15,939. Republican voters, 42,007. All of the other minor parties comprise 1,998, bringing us to that total of 102,067. And that is down 31 from last week. Our precinct of the day today is Precinct 31, State College West 1. They have 727 registered voters. They had a voter turnout of 55% at the November election. They vote at Holy Trinity Orthodox Church at 119 South Spark Street. And we'd like to thank Holy Trinity for the use of their church for our polling place. There's the voters report.
Right. It's a very good turnout for a
It
municipal
is,
election.
yeah. Especially downtown.
Yes. Moving on to announcements, Center County government offices will be closed on Monday, February 16th in observance of President's Day. Do we have any executive sessions to report or hold, John?
None to report, however, there is a need to hold an executive session to discuss legal matters.
All right. Okay. And the remainder of our public meeting schedule, on Wednesday, the 11th, we have the Housing Task Force at noon. On Thursday, we have the Retirement Board at 1. And then next Tuesday, the 17th, Board of Commissioners at 10 o'clock. Well, Tim's favorite time, questions from the press.
Yeah, I just wanted to get the board's reaction to the governor's budget address.
Well, I think there's some hopeful parts in there. I know the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania just sent out an email yesterday, which thank goodness I did read. I didn't know I was going to get this question. But we do hope there is some increase in the mental health funding. We know that there's at least some talk of more assistance for affordable housing, which is tremendous. And obviously, any increase in support for human services or any other county services is greatly appreciated. We know it's just a trial balloon. It's actually the Senate and the House that actually come up with the budget. And the governor, at the end, has the choice to approve it or not approve it. Obviously, they generally approve it. But we do appreciate the governor's efforts and his staff in increasing funding for important county services. Commissioner Concepcion, anything?
Yeah, I would agree. We've, been waiting for years for an increase in human services block grant funds. Hopefully, we'd like to see that in this year's budget. We know that last year's budget, of course, was a long, challenging process. So, I think one of the things we'll be hoping for is a timely resolution this year to the budget. And hopefully, we certainly, it's for counties when there's no increases to certain areas, it's over years and years, it accumulates to really a substantial loss as the cost of providing services goes up. So we want to, continue advocating for human services funding. If there's something in affordable housing, I think we'll be watching that very closely. So.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
It's February, and we have a long stretch to go before the budget is approved, and hopefully it's a speedier process than last year, but I remain optimistic that lessons learned, and we can continue to fund programs that we consider essential as best we can.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, great question, Tim. Anything else?
All I needed, thank you.
All right, thanks. Looks like we'll need a motion to go into executive session.
Okay, I will move that we enter executive session at 10:37.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to enter executive session at 10:37. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, that's next door. Yep.